Good morning, everybody. It is 9 o'clock and we are launching our 2020 virtual independent living conference here in Idaho. My name is Leanne Nalen and we are really excited to have you here today. We'll have people coming in throughout this keynote, really excited to welcome them in and kick this conference off with good energy and some really awesome excitement. We've got some wonderful sessions throughout this virtual week for you. And we're kicking off today with a welcome and a greeting. And before we get started, we have a number of community partners and sponsors who have supported us through this. And so I'm really excited that I get the chance to introduce Abby Smith, and she's with Blue Cross. She's a program coordinator there. As many of you know, I host Lunch with Leanne every Wednesday. And so food is my jam. So while we were prepping, I was asking Abby, because it's breakfast time and food is really all on my mind all the time. And so Abby's favorite breakfast foods, for those of you fun fact trivia, smoothies. So if you ever need a smoothie recipe, those come through a lot in Abby's world, and omelets when she has time. So as you guys know, our theme today, or this week, is Independent Together. And this is a really cool way to get to know each other and learn a little fun facts about each other. So now you all know Abby Smith, and next time you see her, you can ask her about her smoothie recipe. So Abby, thank you so much for your support in our efforts. And I'm gonna let you take it away with just some information for our viewers. So everybody, let's give Abby a clap. Welcome, Abby.
Hi, thank you, Leanne. I'm going to give a quick overview of our True Blue Special Needs Plan at Blue Cross of Idaho. So my name is Abby Smith, like Leanne said, and I represent Blue Cross of Idaho's True Blue Special Needs Plan. This plan is for individuals who have both Medicare and enhanced Medicaid coverage, are over 21 years of age, and live within our 30-county service area. Before I tell you about the great benefits, let me start by saying you don't pay anything for this plan. It is a $0 monthly premium and no deductible. You'll continue to pay what you pay today for your prescriptions. The great thing about the True Blue Special Needs Plan is it makes things easier for you, your caretakers, and your doctors. Our plan combines most of your Medicare and Medicaid benefits into one card, a Blue Cross of Idaho card. That means when you visit your healthcare provider or pick up prescriptions, you only show that one card, your Blue Cross of Idaho card. Blue Cross of Idaho coordinates most Medicare and Medicaid benefits, including medical, hospital, home and community-based services, behavioral health, and long-term services and supports. This plan covers Part D and Medicaid drug benefits, and some members will still pay a small cost share for their prescriptions. To help you make the most of your benefits, you will have access to a care coordinator who will help you through your entire healthcare journey. Blue Cross of Idaho offers a 5-star rated customer service, a generous OTC benefit for much needed items like aspirin, allergy medication, Band-Aids, and many more over-the-counter items. It also offers a free gym membership, coverage for eyewear including contacts, telehealth, meal service when discharged from a hospital or skilled nursing facility, foot care, and our amazing Blue Cross of Idaho care coordination service. If the True Blue Special Needs Plan sounds like a good fit for you, enrolling is easy. You can go to the Blue Cross of Idaho website by visiting truebluesnp.com or reach out and call us at 1-888-495-2583. We can send you a paper application or help you enroll over the phone. I hope this information is helpful. The True Blue Special Needs Plan is a great option for individuals with specific needs and qualifications. It offers a lot of extra benefits, coordinated care, and low cost. And I will post our website and contact information in the comment box of this Zoom presentation for more detail and any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby. Nothing like a live commercial to start off. Fantastic. So thanks, Abby, and we appreciate your support for the conference and all of the great work you do in our community. A couple of housekeeping things, because this is Monday morning and I didn't drink enough coffee before I welcomed everyone. Did want to make sure everybody knew that we had captioning available for you. So if you have, if you want captioning on, there is a link there if you're having some troubles, but you can just turn the captioning on your Zoom, and that is live for you all conference long in all sessions. We also have interpreters for ASL. So those folks are here in every session also providing interpretation. And if you want to pin their videos, that will help in getting some of the noise of all of our faces out of the way. We're very excited to have you all. If you have any questions throughout this session or any sessions, feel free to use that chat box on the right-hand side, and we'd be happy to have whoever is monitoring that at that time help you out. So again, we're very excited to have you here at the Independent Living Conference. And before I introduce our keynote, I do want to take just a quick second and talk about the theme that the conference committee came up with, this independent together. One of the things we're going through in history right now is a debilitation that is that's global wide. And you're hearing a lot of people talk about how we're in this together. And the one thing about our disability community is we've kind of embraced that for a longer time than this pandemic has brought to the world. And this whole theory of differences are advantages and people need one another is one that we talk about at LINC at our Center for Independent Living a lot, because we're a strengths-based organization, and that's where the strengths-based is rooted. And this independent together encompasses that as well. You know, we all have our own desires, our own dreams, our own goals, and where we want to go. And it's so nice to have community partners and friends and a community to do that with. And so really in life, that independence together is something that we've lived for a very long time. So we're excited to have you guys here, explore some resources, make some connections in our great state of Idaho. Virtual we've been able to get folks from all over a little bit easier. So feel free to engage with us this weekend. I'll go over the conference schedule once we wrap up our keynote with just a few more housekeeping things. But welcome. We're so excited to be here with you. And Jeremy Maxson is our Executive Director at LINC at the Center for Independent Living here. And we are so excited to have him join our team. He joined our team from the State Independent Living Council on July 1 and has hit the ground just like a rock star. We love having him on our team. He's a great community organizer, an asset to the independent living work that we do every day at LINC. And so it is my wonderful pleasure and excitement to introduce to you your keynote for this morning, Jeremy Maxson. Take it away, Jeremy.
Thanks, Leanne. Let me get my technology set up here so I can see my notes. Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this year's Idaho Independent Living Conference. I'm excited you've joined us, and I look forward to experiencing the next 4 days with all of you. As Leanne said, my name is Jeremy Maxson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Living Independence Network Corporation, or LINC. LINC is one of 3 centers for independent living in our state, and we serve Southwest Idaho with offices in Twin Falls, Caldwell, and Boise. I want to recognize our sister centers, Life in Eastern Idaho and Disability Action Center Northwest in Northern Idaho, as well as the team at the Idaho State Independent Living Council. I also want to recognize a few of our community partners who we work closely with, including the Idaho Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, the Idaho Council for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, the Idaho Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired, the Idaho Council on Developmental Disabilities, Disability Rights Idaho, and the Northwest ADA Center. Together, we provide independent living resources and support to the more than 400,000 folks with disabilities in communities large and small across this great state. I also want to again thank our sponsors for their generous support. Blue Cross of Idaho, thank you so much for all you do in the community, and thank you for joining us this morning. The International Association of Accessibility Professionals, the Idaho Assistive Technology Project, and Amaru Consulting. This conference is possible because of their support and generosity, so thank you. Finally, I want to recognize the work of Link's Director of IL Innovation, Lana Gonzalez, and her team who organized this conference, rounded up speakers, stuffed packets, and most important, ensured this conference happened by shifting to a virtual platform at a time when meeting in person has been really difficult. Each year, this conference rotates between centers, and this year, it's Link's turn. Our theme this year is Independent Together. Independent Together. I'm not sure any theme could be more fitting. Right now, we truly are independent, but together. In a different time, we would be physically together, enjoying the friendship, the energy, the excitement that comes when folks with disabilities are in the same space. Like a nuclear reactor, shout out to Eastern Idaho, when you put us together, the heat begins to rise, the energy begins to generate, and magic happens. You know what I'm talking about, and you know how important this is to our work, our movement, our culture, and let's be honest, to our physical and mental health. Because of COVID-19, we've had to adapt, but for us, this is nothing new. Adapt is what we do best. Adapt is how we survive and grow in a world that too often seems incapable of changing as fast as we want and need it to. But the independent living movement is not about us adapting to society. The IL movement is about society adapting to us so that we can live our best lives and be our best selves. We are not the outsiders. We are not the deviants. We are not people who need to be fixed or housed or rehabilitated. We're perfect just like we are. And the independent living movement is in part about changing society, not us. This change happens in many, many ways. One of the most impactful was the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the passage of the ADA. The ADA was signed into law on July 26, 1990 by President George H.W. Bush. The ADA is a powerful civil rights law in that it recognizes disability as a protected class, just like race or gender or religious affiliation. But to compress the history and the struggle for our rights into a single point in time would not serve well that history and the work of so many people, many of whom are not with us anymore. So to honor their legacy and to fuel the work that remains, we must know the stories, we must tell the stories so we don't forget their struggle, which is our struggle, but so we also don't forget how much work it takes to push our issues forward. Change is hard, it's real hard. Change happens through community. You are that community, and there is much work that remains to be done. Let's take a minute and talk about that history and that change. All right, people with disabilities, many of us have always existed. From the beginning of time, we have been a part of the fabric of human society and history. In the early days, disability was understood through the lens of religion. Disability was either a sign that we were close to God or we were being punished for something we did. Families and communities were our primary support systems. In the 1800s, society began to change. Disability was understood through the lens of science. People with disabilities were the responsibility of the state and were to be housed in institutions away from family and community. We continue to have little value and we're treated as such. This is a battle we continue to fight today, but we persist. With World War I, something began to change. Battlefield medicine and technology had improved, and soldiers who would have died from their injuries survived. Many of these soldiers were significantly disabled, losing limbs, eyesight, or hearing. Many returned home with shell shock, or what today we call post-traumatic stress. Europe and the United States were forced to reconsider what it meant to be disabled. Are war heroes who cannot walk less valuable than before they were injured? World War II caused a similar reflection point in the United States, and the Vietnam War helped bring the issue of disability even further into the public spotlight. Thousands of US troops who had suffered disabling injuries were returning home, only to find that they were unable to access higher education, government services, or private business because of barriers. Were these heroes unworthy of equal access in our society? The convergence of disabled soldiers returning home with the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s only amplified the need for change. The disability rights movement saw an opportunity by banding together with other marginalized groups to fight for our rights and full access to society. As you will learn from watching the movie Crip Camp or reading Judy Heumann's book on being human, resistance was in the air. Communities of people with disabilities and a culture of resistance was forming. Parents were fighting hard to get their children out of institutions and into the mainstream. So this work, these struggles led to the passage of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, specifically Section 504, which provided equal opportunity for employment within the federal government and in federally funded programs. It prohibited discrimination on the basis of either physical or mental disability. It also mandated equal access to public services such as public housing, public transportation, to people with disabilities, and the allocation of money for vocational training. In 1975, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act was passed to guarantee equal access to public education for children with disabilities. It was later expanded and renamed the Individuals with Disabilities Act, or the IDEA Act. So by the 80s, there was a significant push in the United States to consolidate disability rights laws into a single, all-encompassing law that would protect the civil rights of people with disabilities, similar to how the Civil Rights Act of 1964 protects the civil rights of Black Americans. And in 1990, that law, the Americans with Disabilities Act, was passed. To focus on this law in this single moment in time, although important, would be a mistake. The real story are the millions of people who sat together in living rooms, who made phone calls, who wrote letters, who drove people to hearings to testify, who met with legislators, but most important, who never gave up in what was no doubt a monumental effort in the face of a system that was designed to keep us out. You can listen to some of these stories in the form of interviews as part of the Idaho 30-year celebration of the ADA. YouTube interviews with closed captioning and ASL can be found on the celebration Facebook page, and we'll drop that link in the chat box so that folks can access that if you haven't already. There's some really great interviews with folks who have been involved for many decades. This community of people who changed our world is the real story. That community exists today. You are that community, and this is your story. And folks, the book is not complete. There are more chapters to be written, and all of you are its author. Every time we fight for our independence and we fight to force society to adapt to us, we are putting pen to paper, and we continue to write those chapters. Every time you attend an event, a Zoom, a conference call, a peer mentoring group, a conference like this, every time you meet someone new and invite them into our community to live their best life and to fight for better lives for those around us, we keep that story alive. This is what the independent living movement is about. This is what is important for us to hold with us this week as we engage in community, as we learn, and as we continue to fight like hell for our place in this world. And we aren't in this fight alone either. In 1977, disability activists held the longest occupation of a federal building in US history in San Francisco to ensure that Section 504 actually had the teeth it needed to be effective. That law was passed in 1973, but once a law like that is passed, rules have to be created on how that law is realized. And folks were concerned that those rules would not be strong enough to realize the spirit of the law. This occupation, which to this day is the longest occupation of a federal building in the US, was literally fed by the Black Panther Party, who saw how our two struggles were intertwined and how the intersection of disability and race connects us all. These alliances ring true today as much as they did during the civil rights movement. We see the struggle for equality continue for women, for members of the LGBTQ community, for Black and Brown Americans, for immigrants, and yes, for us, people with disabilities. So what do we do now? What is our path forward? It's the same path forward we've always had: hope, optimism, and community. You hear these words over and over for a simple reason, because it's true. Our only alternative is darkness, negativity, and isolation. And these are things that will kill a movement, our community, and our culture. So I'm asking you to use this conference as an opportunity to learn, to re-energize, to expand our community, and to grow our collective power. Use this time to meet new allies, to learn new skills, and find one passion point that you can bring to the effort if you don't already have one. And I think most of us have them. So the ADA was passed 30 years ago, but the hard work remains to be done. The dream of an equal and just society, one that adapts to us, has yet to be realized. Can we get there? Absolutely. Can we get there alone? Absolutely not. But the good news is, again, we're not alone. We're together. And this week we're together to talk about our community and our movement. And I don't think I could be happier than being virtually with all of you as we do this important work. I could be happier. We could be in the same space. And hopefully that will happen soon. So please enjoy the panels, the presentations, the workshops, the trainings, and networking over the next 4 days. More important, enjoy each other. We still have a lot of writing to do. And because it's timely and critical to all of our futures, I want to leave you with a famous quote from Justin Dart, who's considered the father of the ADA. And you see him in the photos with George Bush signing the ADA into law. Vote as if your life depends on it, because it does. No words could ring truer. I want to encourage all of you to vote in the upcoming elections. If you need to register, ask us. If you need to access an absentee ballot, we can help. But no matter what you do, make sure you vote. Again, thank you for joining us this week, focused on independent living, and thank you for bringing your story and your energy and your commitment to creating a better world for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. So appreciate that powerful, powerful message. Appreciate all of you being here today. And hope, optimism, and community. Jeremy, that's powerful. And each person gives someone hope. And each person has the opportunity to give optimism to a situation. And this is our chance to build a community. So again, I challenge you this week to get to know someone else, get to know someone outside of your community, learn about them, learn about their triumphs. I'm reminded of this story that came from a community member that many of us know and love and miss dearly. During this past 6 months and having to go to an appointment in the community and the fear that came from that, and coming into a place that she didn't feel safe. And she had the opportunity and she had the voice to say, I would like this to look differently. And they listened. and she was able to save people's lives, to talk about what distancing can look like for someone who has a compromised immune system and going out into the world. And she used her voice for something that made our world better. And we hope throughout this week, and we hope throughout these sessions, you continue to learn and grow and meet these ideas and these concepts with an open mind and a growth mindset, and learn something new and challenge yourself, because that's going to make us stronger together. So Jeremy, thank you for your words. That was, it's so important to look back and know that right now we're in a place in time that the history books are going to talk about, and we can make some change while we do this. So thank you for your great words. Thank you all again for joining us here. Today we have sessions at 1 and sessions at 6. So at 1 o'clock today, you can join sessions about how to incorporate decision making with your independent living plan with Amy Cunningham from Disability Rights Idaho. You can also be confident and be you with Erin Riley. And we're also really excited about our sponsor, Lane Amaro. She has a pretty amazing series this week. And at 1 o'clock today, it starts with building the case for digital accessibility. So exciting stuff happening at 1. And then at 6 o'clock today, Jeremy gave a little teaser. If you haven't seen Crip Camp, don't miss tonight. You will get to watch it with community members. You will get to watch it. I'm so excited to watch it again with all of you tonight. It's so powerful. And every time I watched it, I just wanted to talk to someone about it. So how cool is this? We get to talk to each other while we watch it. So again, great work, conference committee. We're excited all week. If you have any questions, reach out to us at Link. We are here to help you, but thank you for taking the time, for joining in these workshops, and we look forward to changing the world together. So have a great week, everybody. And if you have any questions, be in touch, but we'll see you at 1 o'clock in one of those amazing workshops.